Hey YouTube. An historical event which will be taking place between the U.S. Secretary of Treasury Hank Paulson and Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke will sit on the same panel to testify before Congress to ask for the passage of the blueprint for modernization financial regulatory structure. This is it. This is it. This article by Joan Vion. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. We live in a globalized world, a world without barriers and borders, which means every aspect of our economic structure has to change. A private corporation we call the Federal Reserve, which controls the majority of our monetary system. To understand a new set of powers being advanced by the U.S. Treasury Department to the Federal Reserve, we must first recognize that the Federal Reserve Act, passed in 1913, never gave them, the Feds, total power over our economy. To appreciate the importance of what is currently taking place, we must first realize that as a private corporation, the Federal Reserve is not required to make public who sits on their board of directors, nor who or what banks or corporations hold stock in their private company. Additionally, they are not required to publish an annual report, and I'm told they pay no taxes. So, why is it that the American people cannot forgive themselves the interest on their debt? Is it because it is owed to a private corporation? The entire financial and business cycle of a market, highs and lows, is controlled by how much money the Feds pump into or glean from the banking system. I'm going to just paraphrase. The recent proposal by the Treasury Department, called the Blueprint for a Modernized Financial Regulatory Structure, is being touted as the antidote for our sick economy. Of course, there's always this tragedy, and they come in and save us. Until Congress assures these financial tyrants of its passage, the stock market will continue to drop as a warning to their all-encompassing power. Then miraculously, the market will have one of its largest rallies to commemorate the victory. This woman apparently is a international financial reporter, and it's a pattern she's observed over the years since 1994. The blueprint consists of a final takeover by the Fed of our nation's economy. The blueprint recommends changing the bank charter to include all financial institutions. To give you a sense of the immense transfer of wealth that is taking place, understand that the U.S. insurers hold $6 trillion in assets, U.S. banking sector $12.6 trillion, and the U.S. securities sector $12.4 trillion, for a total of $31 trillion in assets. So, are you seeing what they see? Dollar signs. Control of our financial future, control of where we live, how we live, with whom we live. Medieval times called this feudalism. Again, paraphrasing onward. It is further stated that the Fed, given the role of market stability regulator, this is highly unprecedented. By doing so, the Fed will have total control over what happens in the market. As our country is being federalized, the rights of citizen states, as our country is being further federalized, the rights of the individual states are also in the process of being eroded and reduced. It was the state that would provide services for its citizenry. Over the years, there has been a major transfer of powers from state to the federal level. The blueprint also calls for the entire mortgage system of the U.S. to be federalized. Additionally, the Fed will be given say as to the insurance industry. For the past 135 years, the states have regulated all types of insurance with little involvement of the federal level. The blueprint calls for the establishment of an Office of National Insurance. Oh my God, people, wake up! Essentially, in a globalized world, what is then needed is a world central bank. Well, we've already got that, right? The World Bank, and the IMF controls it, and the CFR are all their puppets, changing American foreign policy to adjust for the new world order. That's my paraphrasing. Anyway, back to the article. Skipping around. Once the last vestiges of American financial sovereignty are transferred to this private corporation, Congress becomes obsolete and useless. Up until this time, they were needed to help approve the various incremental transfers of financial sovereignty. Now they will not be needed. And if they think they have any power, they will soon find they gave it all away. As for you and me, the safety nets of that once protected our freedoms and sovereignty as a product of local, county, state, and federal government are in effect gone. We are now left to fend for ourselves in a country where the American government has abandoned their responsibility to us, their citizenry, so that we may survive we will need to don our own life jacket of faith in God, who rules over the affairs of men. This ends Joan Vion's 2008 article. To be precise, she wrote this July 8th, 2008. That's it. Ta-ta.